All right, guys, I want to remind you while you're here. The whole reason why you're here, I want to remind you of it, okay? I'm a high school football coach, just like all these coaches behind me. Back in 2010, I had 2 military sons that were deployed to Afghanistan. It's very important that you understand the reason that you made this trip all the way from Phoenix to be in this event. We always say this game is more than just a football game, and it is. But here's the secret, and here's the weird thing. 9/11 happened, the towers fall, my boys come home, they see that from school, and they go, Dad, we want to go fight. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not going to go fight. No, you're not going to go do it. I know you guys are going to see death. I know you guys are going to see war. I know you guys are going to see hurt. I know you're going to see pain. It might even be your own. 2010, my Marine son was being deployed to an area of the Helmand province. And I remember that when the Marines were getting ready to go, my wife and I would come down to Camp Pendleton, not far from what you guys saw yesterday, and we would throw them a party to say, hey, go get some. But this one was different. This one was much different. My son never told me where he was going. So he came up to me at the party, he put his arm around me, and he said, Dad, let's go take a walk. He goes, Dad, I want you to know where we're going. He goes, we're going to this area in the Helmand province of Afghanistan called Sangin. Do yourself a favor, don't Google it. So as a coach and a dad, what do you think I did? I immediately get my phone out and I Google it. I find out that Sangin is one of the worst parts of Afghanistan. This is where the Taliban grew their opium, their weed, to fuel their trade of terrorism. The British Marines had occupied this territory, and what had happened was the British Marines during a 4-year period lost over 100 men and almost 1,000 wounded, most by getting their legs blown off. A few days later, he was arriving at that base, and as he was arriving in the base, he told me later, Dad, as we were arriving, we were surrounded by white flags, and we could hear pinging coming off our helicopter. They were arriving in the safety of their base. And they were getting shot at. The white flags, what do we think about when we think of white flags? Surrender? Not to the Taliban. The Taliban would put these sheets on the ground and with black spray paint, would spray paint, death to the Americans, death to the infidels. That's you and I, guys. That's where they landed. A few days later, a patrol leaves. The first patrol out. It's driving out. And as it gets around a mile away, they hear this boom! Oh my God, what happened? What happened? The boom was so loud that it shook them a mile away. The Humvee that was leading that runs over a roadside bomb. It was electronically detonated. The Taliban weren't even there. They were letting it go by electronics. The bomb was so big that it lifted up the Humvee, twisted it like a corkscrew, and 4 Marines were instantly killed. My son was back at the base. He said, Dad, we loaded up. We were trying to call them. Guys, are you okay? Are you okay? Radio silence. They went out there, and under enemy sniper fire, they secured the area. This is where it gets strange. I'm at home in Sacramento, California, and I get a phone call from a neighbor. And the neighbor says to me, Coach, something's going on at my neighbor's house. There's a van that pulled up, and there were guys dressed in blue, and I heard screaming and crying. I said, what, do you think something happened? He goes, Coach, I think their son was killed. I found out who the parents were. I called them up. I found out the Marine's name. That Marine was killed. That was killed. I coached in football at the high school I was coaching at. I never knew he was a Marine. So I got to know the family very much, very close. Patty, Tom, is there anything I can do to help you? They said, no, just help us. Help us with the media. So I helped, and then when they got home, we grew close. And they said, Coach, will you eulogize our son? I said it would be an honor. So I eulogized our son. And around 2 days after we put his flag-draped coffin into the ground, I get a phone call. And it's my son from Afghanistan. And he says, Dad, my colonel tells me that there was a coach that helped bury Victor Dew. Dad, you're a coach. Was that you? And I said, yes, son, that was me. And he goes, Dad, I helped cut him out of the vehicle. Instantly, my life was changed. Instantly, my family's life was changed. Instantly, our lives were changed. So as a football coach, I had to do something to get back. I had to do something to help these guys. Well, they're coming home with no legs. They're coming home hurt. And that's where me, my partner Rick Sutter, my friend Patty Schumacher, who her son is the young man that I just told the story about, Victor Dew, who was killed. We became close, and we said, let's do something to help these guys. That's the story of the Army. That's what you guys are playing in. That's the story. This is more than just football, guys. By the spirit of your athleticism, by you guys playing a football game, by your fans coming, this is your way of saying thank you to the men and women that fight, bleed, and die for our freedom. That's the story of the Honor Bowl, the best high school football showcase in America, and you guys are a part of it, okay? All right, guys, bring it in. Hands up, hands up, hands up. Get as tight as you can. Ready, get in here. Ready. When I say 3-5, I want you to yell, get some, and I want it to be loud. 3-5, get some!